नमस्कार. कसे आहात? छान, मजेत. पावसाळा सुरू झालाय, तर असणारच मजेत ऑफकोर्स. सो मी घेऊन आले परत एक तुमच्यासाठी नवीन इंटरव्ह्यू. यावेळी माझ्यासोबत आहे माझी फ्रेंड प्रणोती. अ, ती स्वतःचे IELTSचे क्लासेस घेते आणि तिने बरंच काही केलंय. पण आज आपण मेनली या टॉपिकवर तिच्याशी गप्पा मारणार. लेट्स वेलकम हर. ओके. हाय प्रणोती.
Hi, Mumbai. How are you?
आय एम गुड. हाऊ आर यू?
I'm good too.
So first of all, welcome to my channel.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Arey, I had to. So let's start with the first question, which is very common. Ki, tell us something about yourself. Like, how has been your professional journey?
Okay, so first of all, my name is Pranoti Pathak. I mainly did my graduation in electrical engineering. After that, I worked in a company as a project in charge for 3 years, where I handled a project of around, in rupees, you could say 117 crores. So it was a 3 years project. And after completing the project, I got married. So I shifted to Pune. I took a break of 6 months because the project was quite hectic. I had to travel a lot during that time. So I wanted to enjoy a bit, take a kind of a break from everything. And meanwhile, me and my husband came up with the idea of starting our own venture. So we started a venture by the name Career Care. The main idea behind starting that venture was to help students, specifically the one who have graduated. So whatever problems they face, so we had three sub products. One was business English, because we found that during our 3 years of span, my professional career span, as well as my husband's 6 year span, we found that that is something which is lacking in the industry, where students can gain good understanding. However, there's no guidance over there. So we started with that. Along with that, we had career counseling, basically helping them to understand if they want to switch the career, how they can do that, or if they want to go back to their studies or continue their studies after graduation, then what would be the best options that they could go forward with. And during this time, business English and all, I started to teach a few classes. So I got interested in teaching, and then I thought, okay, I should have my own product in the institute. So I started with IELTS and TOEFL, which are basically English language training exams, which basically test your level of English. All right, that I did for 8 years. After that, I COVID hit, so there were the since my whole venture was based on the people who are going abroad. I had to take a break because no flights were going, so people were definitely not going to travel. So I decided to pursue my MS. It was as well my dream to kind of my ambition to have a master's degree. So I did my master's from Schema Business School in France in business consulting and digital transformation. And many things happened during that period, so I was not able to convert it into a professional career. But I came back to India for my parents, and here I started helping small ventures in streamlining their businesses, how they can target the right customers, and all those nitty gritty of businesses, which helps them to grow further. So that's something which I've been doing currently.
So first of all, तू एंडला बोललीस की you were not able to convert it into something professional, which I don't think it's the case because you have found a way to actually make it work and make it work for not just you, for the businesses around you. So I mean that's one way of using it professionally. Like you don't always have to work for a big company, right?
Yeah.
And secondly, that's how I know you. Like you're the person who just gets things done and you just find a way to get things done.
Thank you.
So uh, so just out of curiosity, ki, because it's a teaching profession, right? IELTS and TOEFL that you started into. So was that somewhere in you since the childhood, or it just as and when you went ahead, you found that passion of teaching people or helping people?
Teaching had been something which I have always done during my breaks and everything. When I was in high school, 8th, 9th standard, I used to take drawing classes and dance classes.
Oh,
So
really?
teaching was something which was like quite natural. Even people around me, specifically elders, used to encourage me to take up teaching as a profession and everything. But somehow I was a engineer or a management student rather, so I never looked at it that seriously, and I took up a career which was more related to engineering and managing. Even when I started my first job, it was all focused on project management and everything. So therefore, but when time came when I had to think about it, then I thought, okay, this is something which I can explore. So I started with it, and the reason I chose IELTS and TOEFL because I was initially planning to go to US. So I had given couple of years back GRE and IELTS. So I found that those exams are very structured. So teaching language through those exams can be very easy compared to what we do when you hear somebody teaching English. There is no result oriented structure. On the contrary, these exams give you that opportunity. So that was one of the reasons why I took up that particular test to teach.
Understood. So in like with IELTS and TOEFL, you also help students to figure out what they can do with their, like, where to go, how to find the right colleges and everything.
Yes, somehow I developed that knack of understanding not only just the professional requirement that a student, or rather professional qualities the student have, but also a bit of nature. So I used to study MBTI, which is basically helps you to understand the personality types of student. So
Okay.
using that and combination of, uh, I read a lot, to be frank. So that helped me to have a good understanding about the what is going on in the industry, and that always helped me to guide the students based on what they already had done and their personality types. So that was a combination which helped me always to help students in understanding. For instance, there was a student who was really doing bad in his engineering. Uh,
Okay.
Somehow he cleared it. And then I saw his writing when I was teaching him GRE and all. And that time I counseled him to go for professional writing careers, content writing career, rather than going for a MS in technical
Okay.
education, because he was not enjoying it at all, and his personality type was not something where a person like, for somebody who's going for MS, they need to be very analytical first of all. um,
Yes.
Also they need to have a kind of interest to pursue solving something rather than go with the flow of whatever comes in front of them. So
Right.
these were the things that were lacking. So that time I suggested him, and then he got into London School of Arts for content writing,
Okay.
everything. Yeah. So this way I was able to help a couple of many students.
That's a great thing to hear, actually. So already I also knew a couple of your students, and they are also very happy with you. So somehow तुझ्याकडे ते knack आहेच to somehow guide people in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that's really actually something we all take help from.
I like doing it. I really love it. That is something which gives me satisfaction as well, because it encourages me to read more as well. For instance, now recently there are like ChatGPT has come up. So I was recently exploring how we can develop a language course which could help student to deal with ChatGPT much better, because asking proper question is very important when you're dealing with ChatGPT.
Right.
So that was something which I was exploring. So these things keep coming, that okay, what would be the problem that student would face when dealing with this kind of thing, and automatically you kind of come up with ideas.
That's really actually a great thing. I mean, something very wait. मला शब्द सुचत नाहीयेत. So मला म्हणायचं होतं की this is something actually another good quality about you की you always keep looking for somehow to how we can improve things. And because you do it, so of course that's going to help your students.
Yes.
So that's going to be an added advantage for them. And you're not doing it out of some benefit that you're trying to reap out of them, but just because you want to be perfect in what you're doing. So that's the best thing about it. And huh. So, was there any course that you had to do for getting into this, like starting with the IELTS classes, or you like, is there any requirement, or you just
There's no requirement as such, but I did do IELTS train the trainer so that I understand the perspective of what IELTS is looking for when it's evaluating their papers. But instead of that course, what helped me a lot was I read a lot of theses published by some students on IELTS. So English
okay?
literature students or the people who are doing MA in English, they basically have written a lot of theses on telling you exactly why IELTS is designed in this way. So when I decoded that, that was the reason why the course I developed was so effective, that a student, when he does it, he definitely cracks it. So because we pinpoint the area where instead of just relying on the skill, for instance, in listening,
Hmm.
instead of just helping the student, okay, listen and answer the question, it doesn't work like that. So
Okay, right,
what we emphasize on is on formats,
right.
that be one step ahead of the audio. First only predict ki what could happen in this kind. So there are common traps in IELTS which are put into places to evaluate certain skills of student. So that's what
Okay.
we help them to understand. And then even though a person is not that comfortable with language, but the logic is clear, and that is the reason they can score better. So this is something which helped me a lot in developing the course at initially.
That's something interesting. Way of looking at learning language, and I think you have managed to get engineering into language learning
Yes.
by doing this.
True, true, very true.
Yeah, it's the way how engineers think. Adapt
Absolutely.
the logic and make it a simpler format so you can like standardize it for
Yeah.
every.
Yes, yes.
So I know this was not a planned question, but while talking to you, माझ्या डोक्यात just हा question येतोय की what keeps you motivated? What is like how do you come up with these things, or how do you keep going? Like कसं तुला असं असं काही specific motivation किंवा inspiration काही आहे की it's just how you are?
I could say that it's how I am, but no, I also have rough patches. And to tackle them, I kind of rely a bit on spiritual things. So that helps me. Like, to be frank, the reason I am always motivated, uplifted, and everything is because I have a discipline to follow in the morning. That's a really important part. No matter what is the case, you do those certain things every day. So when there is that cycle and when you have that motivation, even when you are going through a lot of rough patches in life, you have some small wins during the day, which is quite an important aspect. I think that is what helps me to be like, ठीक आहे, जे झालंय पुढे चला.
हा. Interesting. So that's a takeaway. Ki, follow at least a, a small thing which will be your routine, which is constant, even if the world is completely 360-degree changing around you.
True.
Then, yeah, that can make you feel saner.
True, because when you are in that depressed mode, many of us go through that. But in that thing, doing anything is really difficult. And when in the morning you achieve these 2 3 tasks itself, it helps you a lot mentally. You feel that no, I am not lost completely. So that helps.
Yeah, right. Anchor, maybe it's like a anchor for you. Ki at least one thing is constant. At least this is working, if not
Yeah,
anything else.
absolutely. That helps a lot.
This is under my control.
True. And another thing I do is whenever I'm depressed, I give up that part which is I am struggling with and take up a hobby.
Okay.
So I don't take the guilt की अरे नाही नाही मला हे करायलाच हवंय वगैरे. त्यावेळेला मूड नाहीये ना, मग ते सोडून द्या. ते नाही होणार. त्याच्याऐवजी काहीतरी आर्टिस्टिक करा. जेव्हा तुम्ही त्या it's kind of spiritual as well. It is kind of meditative as well. So you can do whatever you like doing. It helps you to soothe, and you kind of forget about that thing that was bothering you, and something unique comes out of your art, and then that is something which you show off to people, and it boosts your energy and everything. So that is also one thing one can definitely try, that when something is nagging, leave it and do something artistic, not necessarily that drawing and anything, whatever you like, cooking, decorating, anything.
Something creative and something completely different than what you're struggling with.
Definitely. And don't take guilt. That's the biggest
Yeah.
हे केलं पाहिजे, मी हे करत नाहीये. जसं फॉर एक्झाम्पल मेनी टाइम पीपल हॅव दिस लाईक फॉर स्टडिंग स्पेसिफिकली, दे आर लाईक नाही नाही मला करायला हवं, ते नाही होणार आहे त्यावेळेला. त्याच्यापेक्षा ते सोडून वेगळं काहीतरी करा, म्हणजे तो वेळ तरी उपयोगात येतो.
राईट. बऱ्याचदा आपल्याला आपण एखादी गोष्ट करत राहतो बिकॉज आपल्याला वाटतं की आता अर्जन्सी आहे आणि आता हे झालंच पाहिजे, आणि इफ वी आर नॉट डुईंग इट देन वी आर मे बी नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल इनफ ऑर केअरफुल इनफ, बट मे बी असं नसू शकतं, आणि जस्ट अ स्मॉल ब्रेक कॅन मे बी चेंज द होल स्पीड ऑफ युअर वर्क. अग्रीड. सो दिस टेक्स मी टू द फायनल क्वेश्चन, की नाव बिकॉज तू एवढं छान वाचत असतेस, अँड आय नो दॅट युअर ऑलवेज इन्फॉर्म्ड, युअर ऑलवेज अवेअर, अँड युअर ऑलवेज not on toes, I want to say, like you know the situation well. So currently आता जी काही मार्केट सिच्युएशन आहे, किंवा आता जे जे लोक, जी मुलं आर थिंकिंग अबाउट गोइंग अब्रॉड और pursuing further career, further education, आणि डिसाइडिंग अ करिअर पाथ अहेड, तर त्यांना तू काय सजेस्ट करशील, किंवा तुला काय सांगावंसं वाटेल की व्हॉट शुड दे थिंक अबाउट विच, बिकॉज आधी ते कन्सिडर करायची गरज नव्हती पण आता आहे, असं असं काही पॉइंटर्स दॅट यू वुड लाईक टू पॉइंट आउट.
वन इम्पॉर्टंट थिंग आज जे झालं आहे की तुम्हाला तुमचे क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग खूप महत्वाचं झालं आहे. No matter which course you are doing, anything, you need to develop this skill in order to survive in the market. Simple example to give you, that even when you are dealing with data analytics, or even when you are dealing with Adobe Illustrator, if you are not critical analyzer, the logical thinking, you will have to go through learning process in a very tedious and in a very complicated manner. Instead of that, if you are a critical thinker, if you have developed that knack to analyze things in that manner, understanding the logic behind things, algorithm behind the things, and thereby adapting those new processes quickly is going to help a lot, because a lot of new processes are going to come into picture because of many changes that are happening in the industry, especially industry 4.0. So when it comes to a career decision, first skill development is something people need to put efforts into, rather than just thinking about a course or a career first.
Yeah.
Secondly, the course that people can take up is something more futuristic, not thinking about what is there currently in the market, but things that are going to be there post 2025. So that's really important, because the first of all, world power thing is changing. We see that it's not that there's a shift in the world power, but you can say that it is going into different poles now. Instead of having one world power, eventually it is going to happen that there will be a couple of people or a couple of countries which would have a higher say.
Right.
Also, specifically for Indian student, I would suggest that if they're going for courses outside, they should just think about it as a course, as a learning medium, and getting 2 3 years over there. I would suggest coming back to India by 2027, because, as you see today, also recession has started in
Right.
Germany, in Ireland. It has already declared, but they are so big ships that they won't sink immediately.
Hmm.
Okay. Moreover, that investment, everything is kind of getting diverted towards India. So
Right.
if you're in a position where you have European or American degree and a year or two experience, by 2027, you would become a preferred choice for these companies to hire you in India,
Hmm.
because they will like to have a person who with whom they can communicate easily, who understand their culture as well as the local culture.
Right.
So people should emphasize on that part now, instead of return on investment policy, which was there earlier. Like earlier, when people used to go, they were like, I need to settle down over there. I don't
Right.
think it would be that beneficial to settle down, because it is going to equalize kind of the market, or what you say, rate wise, like what you're earning in India and the living lifestyle and everything in India would be kind of similar to what is there outside. It is going
Right.
to kill off everything, to be frank. And we don't know what's going to happen with BRICS, so you never know, Indian currency might be much better in future.
Let's
So
hope for that.
yeah. So these couple of things are there. So right now, people who are planning to go outside, they need to think about it as, no matter how advanced India becomes, they won't be able to reach the level in education that is there already outside India that quickly. Even though industry
Hmm.
wise may reach there in couple of years, but educational institute, the way the professors are outside, that is not going to be possible for next 10 years at least. So people right now, when they're looking to go abroad, I think education should be their priority, quality education, rather than settling down and getting a good job. That would help them.
So getting a correct knowledge, uh, correct industry exposure, in a sense that we have seen that what you learn outside, you get to learn a lot about those companies and how they work. And so because the professors are from European or US markets, so you understand how those things work. So that helps, because in India you have professors who are from Indian market, so of course there is a shift in that. So that, and yeah, as
So
you
just
said.
to add to that, if you see now, Japanese are learning Hindi quite drastically. You can see Hindi lesson, people giving Hindi lessons in Japan are increasing. The reason is because they want to communicate with Indians, or the Bangladesh people, or Sri Lankan or Pakistani people. So you can understand the kind of shift that is happening there itself. That now, and here, if you are a person who has been to Japan, who have stayed there, obviously you would become their pick.
Of course, yeah, yeah,
So
that's
this is the reason why I suggested ki, more important in the next 5 years would be your exposure to these countries, rather than just your educational background.
understood. Find the vertical you want to work in, then figure out which companies you would like to have as your dream companies, then find out those companies are from which countries mainly, and then maybe figure out which country you want to go to for higher education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right now, what people, students are asking me is, वहां तो recession आ गया है, मतलब तिथे
हम्म.
recession आलाय, मग आता आम्ही काय करू तिथे जाऊन? But that
बरोबर.
is the right time to go, to be frank. कारण by the time हे recession उचलेल, तोपर्यंत तुमची डिग्री कंप्लीट झालेली असेल. तुम्ही
हा,
फ्रेश
एक्झॅक्टली. हा.
सो हे कॅल्क्युलेशन करणं ही खूप गरजेचं आहे, की जसं मी तुला म्हटलं, की आजच्या घडीचा विचार न करता पुढच्या 3 वर्षांनी काय असणार आहे याचा विचार करणं खूप गरजेचं आहे.
राईट. ऑफकोर्स जी मुलं हे बघतायत किंवा त्यांचे पेरेंट्स बघतायत, तर ते ह्या सगळ्याचा नक्की विचार करतील. आणि आय वॉन्टेड टू टेल यू वन थिंग, जे आधी मी कधी तुला बोलले नाही, की वी ऑलवेज मिस हॅव्हिंग अ मेंटॉर बिकॉज आपल्याला आपले बिकॉज माझं पण करिअर पाथ खूप व्हेरिड राहिला आहे. सो आय डोंट हॅव वन मेंटॉर बिकॉज मी पण बीई केलंय इलेक्ट्रिकल मधनं अँड देन आय स्टार्टेड वर्किंग इन IT अँड देन नाव आय एम ट्राईंग टू एक्सप्लोर समथिंग एल्स. But when I talk to you, I always get that feeling that I can trust your advice, and I can, when I'm totally feeling lost or I'm confused, I can come to you.
Thank you so
And
much.
so I think how the students feel about you too. So I थिंक लोकांना खूप इन्फॉर्मेशन मिळाली आणि खूप चॅनलाइज्ड इन्फॉर्मेशन मिळाली आहे आणि त्याचा लोक नक्की वापर करतील. आणि इफ समवन वॉन्ट्स टू कनेक्ट विथ यू दे कॅन कनेक्ट विथ यू. सो आणि तू काउन्सिलिंग वगैरे पण करते का?
सध्या थोडस पॉज घेतलाय मी, बट इफ अ स्पेशल केस कम्स, कसं झालंय, I'm going through a lot of transitions in my personal life itself. So
I-
for that reason, I have taken a bit of pause. Yes, but I'm helping few companies locally. But other than that, I'm not doing anything much currently. सो
या
जर कोणाला जसं खूपच अडकलेले आहेत, जसं काही स्टुडंट, आता एक स्टुडंट होता माझा, ही हॅज ऑलमोस्ट 12 years ऑफ एक्सपिरियन्स,
ओके.
बट इंडियामध्ये स्टक झाले बिकॉज कुठेतरी सॅच्युरेशन येऊनच जातं. आज IT इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये सुद्धा वन्स यू रीच अ लेवल टीम लीड अँड ऑल, इट्स रिअली डिफिकल्ट टू ग्रो आफ्टर दॅट. Either you
राईट,
have to pick up administrative job or managerial job rather than administrative, which
राईट.
is not that rewarding for coders who are like
लव.
completely
या.
engrossed. Yes, yes, who have that, that is the area where they love. So yeah, these kind of people, so अशा लोकांना डेफिनेटली मी अजूनही हेल्प करते, टू हेल्प देम टू अंडरस्टँड काय बेस्ट कोर्स असेल विच कॅन बॅलन्स आउट, कोणता जॉब रोल ते घेऊ शकतात जे बॅलन्स आउट करेल ह्या गोष्टी. सो हे मी अजूनही करते.
ओके. सो I'll share तुझे डिटेल्स जे असतील ते इफ समवन वॉन्ट्स टू कनेक्ट विथ यू.
Sure.
आणि I'm sure someone will come and connect with you because many people need help in such areas. And thank you. Thank you, Pranati, for everything, first of all. And thank you for giving this time because I know की तुझ्या लाईफमध्ये खूप गोष्टी चालल्या आहेत, but still you managed to give this time to me. And we could have this quick short interview. आणि मे बी इन फ्युचर कुठल्या तरी रॅन्डम टॉपिक वर आपण परत कधीतरी डिस्कशन करू.
नक्की नक्की.
आणि थँक्यू फॉर दिस टाइम अँड थँक्यू एव्हरीवन फॉर वॉचिंग अँड विल मीट अगेन.
Yes, thank you. Bye bye. It was a pleasure being on your channel. Hope your channel grows very fast, and because it's something which is interesting, connecting with people is really important today, for sure. So you are providing that channel for people, which is a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know that there are heroes.
You can't call us heroes. You definitely,
There
yeah.
are heroes in each one of us. There are just near us, but we sometimes are so engrossed in our own lives, and we only see the big successes, and we forget to appreciate the small wins, which are actually keeping you like keeps you going than the bigger ones. I feel so.
True.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a fun conversation, specifically to talk with a friend on the topics. On these topics, it's something a pleasure.
I know, and I think I learned a lot of new things about you today. Which I think आपण आधी डिस्कस नव्हत्या केल्या कधी. Like I knew what you do, but we never had discussed in so much depth. So that was also interesting to know. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll keep in touch. We'll see you next time. Bye.